Meghan Markle is a cold, rude, fake woman who is pretending to be someone she isn't, and Prince Harry is finally waking up to the terrible truth. Who says so? Her brother, Thomas Markle Jr. In an exclusive interview with little old me, the Duchess of Sussex's seething sibling said that after what she's put their father through, he wouldn't let her within 50 feet of him. It was my first encounter with Thomas Jr., and I found him to be an open and eminently likeable guy. The kind of straightforward, decent, no-nonsense American I often met when I lived in Los Angeles back in the 90s. And that's why I believe he finds his estranged half-sister's ruthless behaviour so hard to understand. I wouldn't want to be like Meghan. She's the oddball, he declared. Tom believes that Meghan banning their dad from meeting his grandchildren is unforgivably cruel. And he feels for King Charles, who also never gets to see Archie and Lilibet. As we chatted on my talk show, The Political Asylum, Tom revealed for the first time why his dad was never going to attend Meghan and Harry's Windsor wedding in 2018. The story was that the former Hollywood lighting man suffered a heart attack at his home in Mexico and was too sick to travel. But now his son says the decision was already made thanks to an impossible ultimatum issued to him by his difficult daughter. She told him that in order to walk her down the aisle, he would have to cut his other kids, Tom and Samantha, out of his life. Thomas Sr. refused, and the rest is history. Tom Jr. said to me that he wasn't at all surprised by the Hollywood Reporter investigation labelling Meghan a bullying employer who terrifies her staff and reduces grown men to tears because, he says, she is cold, rude and fake. And he predicts the Sussexes' marriage is doomed because Meghan is an actress playing a part. You can only play a character for so long until somebody sees the real you. Harry is finally waking up to what's in his life, said Tom. So, what is in Harry's life? Is it a snobbish fraud who is somehow embarrassed by her down-to-earth American family, a social mountaineer who was never going to allow her folks to mix with British royalty because perhaps they would reveal that she's not exactly from the top echelons of high society? In other news, author Robert Hardman's newly updated book, Charles III, New King, New Court, The Inside Story, lifts the lid on Harry's lies, claiming, for example, that he was informed of the Queen Mother's death in a curt call from a courtier while he was an Eton schoolboy. He was actually in Switzerland skiing with Charles and William. Also, Palace staff remain furious at the petulant prince's contention that they did nothing to help Meghan adapt to her new British life. Far from ignoring her, they went out of their way to make the American actress feel at home, even providing her with extra staff. It is Harry's debatable version of events in his spiteful book Spare that has led to the King's current standpoint in not answering his son's calls or replying to his messages. Charles fears that Harry is a liability because of his tendency to publish accounts of private conversations, some of which, a royal insider told Hardman, have been, shall we say, wrong. Meanwhile, to add to King Charles's problems, there's that other difficult duke, as in the disgraced Duke of York, Prince Andrew, who has been deprived of his £1 million a year allowance, his 10-man security squad, and now faces eviction from the Royal Lodge in Windsor as the sovereign seeks to crack down on his awful brother. So, if things aren't going too well for you, seek solace in this. It could be worse. You could be Randy Andy. Simon, as you celebrate Trump's victory, your thoughts? I mean, though I say so myself, he does not have a good view of his sister.
He's monetised his family feud, just like Harry has monetised his. And I think this is all becoming a bit...
He's monetised his family feud. He didn't take a single cent for
Yeah,
that
by the
interview.
way, I should have stressed this, and I should have stressed this the other night when I interviewed him. He didn't take any money.
Never
Samara
asked for a
spoke
penny.
to him for a long time, and he's been boiling up to this. He's so fed up with her, so fed up with the way that her family is nothing to her, and she's cut them off. And here is Thomas talking about this issue.
in my opinion, she pretends to be this wonderful person, but from numerous accounts, even from friends in Montecito, it's nothing like that. She's cold and rude to people wherever she goes. So, go ahead, live your life.
So, yeah, I mean, it was pretty damning stuff, Simon. I mean, he's hurt. And his father, he's very hurt on behalf of his father. As he spoke to me, he was actually in Mexico, in Rosarito, where Thomas Sr. lives, and he was with his dad, and his dad was watching on. And he was speaking, from the heart. His dad is heartbroken. He wants to see his grandchildren. It is shitty of her not to let him see.
It's very difficult if you feel that you have toxic family in your life, as she does, and we have to respect her view. Then she doesn't want to see.
I don't.
Okay, you don't have to respect her view. If that's what she believes, who are we to demand that she takes children that she doesn't want her father to have anything to do with and see them? I mean, we can have a view on it, but that's all we can do. And, you're saying that he hasn't monetized Thomas Markle Jr.
He hasn't taken...
which I agree with. Why the need to speak to the press all the time?
Because he's upset. He's upset, and he wants people to know that the Markle family are very, very anguished about what she's done. Here's Thomas again.
Why does she want, or did she want your dad to disown you and Samantha? Why?
It goes back to the young childhood days when even Samantha was witness to the fact that, there was no room for Tom and Samantha in Meghan and Dad's and Doria's life. And, there were several incidences where they made it very clear where they're starting their own business. And Samantha goes, well, what's the business called? Oh, it's the Three Cherubs. And, of course, the Three Cherubs is those three.
Yeah, I mean, they come from a broken family, Samara.
Is that another one of Meghan's failed businesses?
The
Three Cherubs.
Meghan, for sake, stop starting businesses.
Please.
You're useless at it.
So why does Meghan get the blame for starting the Three Cherubs when her father and her mother were involved in it as well?
Oh my gosh. Okay, look, the thing that came out of this interview was that, and you spoke about toxic family members, it was revealed that Meghan is the toxic family member here. I mean, in that interview, Tom said that he wouldn't let Meghan within 10 yards of his father, because it is such a travesty what she's done to that man. She's broken him.
Yeah.
And I don't think he danced around that fact. Yeah. He said, she has ruined our family. All we got was a very normal, hurt family member out of that interview. And it's really terrible that she paints this picture as herself as the victim when she's left this trail of upset family members along the way.
What was interesting, though, Simon, was that, the narrative has always been... And, he did have a heart attack. He wasn't well. He was too unwell to attend the wedding anyway. But what Thomas Jr. is telling me is the decision was already made because she had given her father this horrible ultimatum. Unless you don't talk to Thomas Jr. and Samantha ever again, you can't walk me down the aisle. Here's to Thomas Sr. I know you don't like him much, but here's to Thomas Sr. for saying, no, I'm not going to do that. What a thing to say to a father.
I've seen him in interviews. I saw him in an interview he did with Piers on Good Morning Britain, where he was saying, I will not stop talking about her until she agrees to... I will not stop giving interviews. Thomas Markle Sr. So I think this is a very dysfunctional family with all of them throwing... Wait, just let me finish. I think they're throwing accusations around at each other. And perhaps if they're going to do some bridge building, they need to be doing it off camera, behind closed doors, and not trying to point score off one another. That's my own feeling about it. And that doesn't mean I'm sticking up for her. And it doesn't mean that I don't have sympathy for him.
Simon, I'll tell you what's not happened behind closed doors. It was also revealed in that interview that Thomas Markle Sr. has had 2 further heart attacks this year, I believe.
And stroke as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally on death's door. And a phone call from Meghan, a note, a WhatsApp even, just to ask, how are you? Nothing. Resolute silence from that woman. This is a man who put her through one of the best private schools in California on a working Hollywood salary. It was pretty much nothing. I mean, he gave everything to her. As Tom actually said, she was the golden child of his eye. And the fact that he's had all these health complications and she hasn't even said hello to him is ridiculous. It's unforgivable.
It's vicious, I think. It's vicious. I mean, what kind of a woman or daughter doesn't reach out to to her dad after all those health problems.
What was the straw?
What kind of a person is she?
Listen, I just know that I have friends who don't talk to family members, and it's very, very sad. It's very, very sad, but it's not something that third parties can get involved with and make a kind of a sweeping statement on they should do this or they should do that, because we can speculate and we can hear from either side, but we do not know what has happened truthfully within that relationship.
The Markle family is complicated. A lot of people's families are complicated. And yeah, you're right. You know, you can't go into the intimate details of what's gone wrong there because we don't, we weren't there. We don't particularly know. But what you can take a view on is a daughter whose father is clearly, struggling to survive right now. The poor guy's had 2 heart attacks, a massive stroke. He's a very ill man. He's just turned 80, and he just wants to see his grandchildren, perhaps before he dies. Don't like to put it like that, but that is the fact of the matter. And she well won't let him. What kind of a person is she? A
sick and evil individual, like her poor stepbrother revealed her to be. I think that what we actually also got from this interview was how normal the family actually is, and how we're saying, oh, it's complicated. I think it's actually more basic. I think she's embarrassed of them in the most horrible way, and I think her social...
That's it.
Yeah, her social... Exactly it. That's all it is.
This is what she is. Like, she's a snob. Yep. And she wants people to think that she's from the top of the social ladder, the highest echelons of high society, and she's just not.
Okay. No.
I believe she's always feared that if Thomas Senior, Thomas Jr., Samantha and the gang get to meet the royal family, that somehow or other her ludicrous secret will be revealed, and that she's not from the... But hey, Meghan, no one's falling from it. We know who you are. She's a little snob.
Okay, that may well be true. There's also another version, and that is that she has become one of the most reviled women in the media. She's talked about in numerous articles. We talk about her every week. You two do your best to kind of pile in about stuff that you think about her, and you're not backwards in coming forwards with giving your opinion really about her. And she may feel that she doesn't want to fan the flames of discontent that will come about by a botched family reunion.
You might not. So for that reason, then she's not going to let her dad see his grandchildren. That is not a good enough reason for that. By the way, I think Samara's got a few comments from our audience about Meghan.
I do. So Mama Kim has said, I feel for Harry. He wanted the type of relationship he witnessed with his brother achieving, and thought Meghan was the answer. I feel he's been totally manipulated, a victim of coercive control. Meghan love-bombed him. She's a classic narcissist.
Well, it's interesting what Thomas Jr. was saying, that he believes that she's an actress playing a part. That she's fake, as he said, and that Harry is waking up to the person that she really is. He's waking up to who he's lumbered with, who he's ended up with. And Thomas believes for that reason that marriage isn't going to last. He's one of the many people who feels that marriage isn't going to last.
However, Kevin, just something that you said in the last programme, which I noticed the comments underneath. People were very upset that you were saying that you thought that William could be jealous of Harry's popularity, something along those lines. I think that was mentioned, and I
think that's possible.
Yeah.
Off the back of a Tina Brown comment.
Yes, which you're entitled to your opinion there. We have 2 siblings who aren't talking to one another, and we don't know how that's going to play out as well. And in some ways, that kind of mirrors the relationship that both Meghan and Harry have with their families that we can't get embroiled in.
What's really interesting is that they were besties until Meghan entered the scene. Yeah. So I'm seeing a common denominator there.
She's a relationship wrecker.
Basically.
She does. She crashes relationships.
I can't believe that I gave you guys the rope to hang me with that. I'm having a great week, by the way.
I'm on a plank. Oh, there's some sharks. I think I'll dive in. You got some more comments, Simone?
Yes, Angie has said the biggest mistake was that Harry picked the wrong partner in life. Meghan Markle is old, a 3-time divorcee, and only thinks of herself.
She 3 times divorced?
I think
she's one-time divorced.
And is she old?
One-time divorced.
Maybe soon to be 2.
She's older than him.
Yeah, pretty old. Yeah.
I think she's 72.
Yeah.